So yes, it's been a while since the last history of Power Rangers. As such, I need to address a couple of things that have cropped up. Yes, I'm aware of the David Yost interview. Yes, I'm aware that Power Rangers Samurai is coming to Nickelodeon in 2011. Yes, I will continue to do History of Power Rangers through that series whilst it concludes. Now, many of you have been very patient in waiting for these videos, and for that, I'm very grateful. Others of you have not been so patient, to the point where I'm actually taking time out of this review to talk about it. Let me say this once again, since apparently it was not made clear when this video series began. History of Power Rangers has no set schedule. Videos are done when they're done, and will be released when they're done.
Welcome, everybody, to the Linkara Atop the Fourth Wall cosplaying guide.
Swing, baby.
We have with us Dr. Ribs Sano. 90s kid.
Radical, dude.
I'll have to stop calling him 90s kid because I am eventually going to bald. He said that on the commentary, so that's not my
Did he?
commentary.
All right, that's fine.
He's like, I'll have to call him, I don't know, 90s bald guy.
And eventually at some point I'll probably have to just rename him 90s Dude because, eventually I'm going to be balding.
And finally, we have Harvey Fine Voice.
Taking a break from my usual touring schedule for this one.
Well, wait a minute. Can you do a more throaty Linkara gangster voice?
Let me see. I'm taking a break from my usual tour schedule.
I'm down in the Baja, I'm not even here most of the time.
It's like it has to be like right behind the nasal passages. It really like
Yeah, I do find that it is way back here. True.
Frankie, do the whole thing in that voice. Do the whole thing in a Linkara voice. It'd be amazing.
Fucking impossible.
Apparently, they do an impression of me that everyone loves. That everyone has to point out. Wow, his impression of you is so accurate.
All right, guys. So we did Kickassia. We did it because of Jason. Then you got to do Suburban Knights. Then you got to do To Boldly Flee. I never thought we'd make it here. This is a long way from home.
We're in a strange new world.
We never knew that we'd all be dressed up like Linkara.
and I function as your ambassador to it.
For the 9th time, I don't speak clown.
Yeah, we lost a man along the way and we gained a man. We've tagged in Levi Reed, our dear friend, slob of the pod. The reason is because you are a true believer. A true believer. You actually like genuinely. You're younger than us, so you kind of grew up with this guy in more formative years.
I discovered Lewis's work around the time that I found Doug Walker and James Rolfe. And it's funny looking back for both Doug and James, I found them through comic book character reviews. The first AVGN I ever saw was the Superman NES episode, to which I posted a comment. I was like, why doesn't he just read the manual if he's confused about the controls? And everyone's like, it's a character, kid.
Such a young guy comment. Like, why not just play the game properly?
Well, it was reasonable. I'm like, well, this feels unfair.
They worked hard on that Financial District Superman game.
That they did. So I found Lewis, and it was at a time I was a young comic book fan. I started reading in elementary school. I started collecting in middle school. And nobody in my life was really talking about comics at all, because the movies were starting up. We had Dark Knight and Iron Man and everything, and it was like, people are talking about it, but they don't actually care. It's like somebody's wearing a Batman shirt, and I'm like, oh! And it's like, oh. So finding Lewis was really handy. It's one of those things that Lewis was always in depth. He not only just said, hey, this comic sucks, but it's like, hey, here are the creative teams. Here's why it was made. Here's the context in which it was made. Here's where this company was at the time, and here's who the editor was. So as somebody who is still kind of like feeling their way and still kind of building their taste, it was great. It was useful. Because it was a way to connect dots and find other stuff I may like, which, James and Doug did a little bit for me, but the focus on the creative team was never the big thing.
James and Doug did it for millions of people, I think. There are a lot of movies that continue to be in the zeitgeist simply because of Doug Walker. I think a lot of those movies probably the audience hasn't even seen, but they've seen the Doug Walker review.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, there are so many movies that I feel like I know just because I've seen Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah, well, so my personal history didn't look like it was my speed. I don't read comics, but I think everybody knows I love the Power Rangers. And this dude loves Power Rangers. And I did come across the history of Power Rangers and its irregular schedule.
History of Power Rangers has no set schedule. The videos are done when they're done and will be released when they're done. In case you haven't noticed, I've been more than a little busy the last few months. If you haven't noticed, wake up already!
You know, honestly, I thought they were really great videos. I get the appeal. All the way up to, he did this like a montage to Under Pressure where Zordon died.
Now is the time.
That was probably around the time I realized, I was like, even though a lot of this feels tongue-in-cheek and kind of self-aware, I think this guy is actually taking himself more seriously than I thought he was.
Oh, yeah. He is always in the gimmick. If this is wrestling, he's 100% kayfabe with him at all times. He's great.
A long time ago, I saw Tenacious D guested on Howard Stern, and they were going to play a set and all this. And Howard Stern was like, you guys just want to be real rock stars, but because of your body types and the kind of people you are, you have to do a comedy version of it. And I'm like, I think that's kind of what is going. I think Lewis loves Star Trek. He loves science fiction. I think he wants to make real movies like this, actually. But because it's dinky and low budget and with a bunch of friends, he has to like lean into the comedy. But that's like one of my big kind of early takeaways is like, this movie wants to be something other than even how it presents itself.
There are stretches where there's no jokes, where it's just like, we are in the plot.
Were there any actual laughs? Like, 'cause I don't think I laughed a single time.
Nope.
Like, I acknowledge that there were a few things that he said where I'm like, oh, I get that that's a joke, but I don't think there was any time where I actually was like, oh, that's funny and I'm laughing.
There's one time I laughed. It's when Doug Walker is the bartender and he like turns around, and when he turns back around, it's like some other guy with a wig and no eye patch.
Oh, right.
Oh, and actually, you can tell Linkara is like big time, like trying not to laugh.
And I tell you something, at the end of the day, who cares, man? Who cares? You haven't paid your bill yet, and that's all I care about.
And I'm like, oh my God, take another reaction.
Actually, I take it back. I should have said intentionally funny, because of course there's the big moment that's hilarious, but...
Yeah, we'll make our way there slowly.
I don't know.
Yes, you do. You just don't want to tell me. Look, if something's going on, you need to tell me.
How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
So my screening, actually, we did get a few laughs.
Who's we? You got a turd in your pocket?
My girlfriend and I usually hang out on a particular night, and we usually do separate things. And I said, okay, so tonight I have to watch the Atop the Fourth Wall movie. I do not expect you to pay attention. I do not expect you to even stay in the room, like you can read a book or do anything else. And she's like, okay, well, maybe I'll pay attention. We were just locked in the whole time.
Oh, my God.
It was just suffering together. I think the only laughs for us was Nash Bozard's deer in the headlights look and his saying, what, you can't shoot lightning out of your hands? No! No!
You can shoot lightning out of your hands?
Yeah, can't you?
No!
Why, you can't do that?
And you can?
Of course I can. I'm Harvey Fine Voice. A swing, baby.
You performed it so much better than they did. Your timing was impeccable compared to them.
There is no timing in this movie.
There was maybe 3 genuine laughs, and all the rest of just being like, what is...
So they set up Harvey having lightning hands, right? But then I don't think he actually uses the lightning hands against Mechakara on the end. No. Why did they set it up then?
I don't know. He talks about it in the commentary, I think. He's like, we could have, yeah.
I was half tempted to have Harvey actually exhibit lightning powers later on just to back that up, but I think it was just, he's Harvey.
Well, I gotta tell you, I watched it with Nina. So she saw most of the BTS, and she saw like the first hour of the movie. She had a lot of comments. I'll repeat a few. One of them, she was like, man, like the outfits on the women are very unmotivated.
Yeah, that's a good observation, actually.
We're going to try, I'm going to try not to be like mean. We're going to make fun of the movie, but I don't want to like beat this guy up. I saw a comment on one of his videos. Somebody said, how would you feel if somebody MST3K'd this movie? And he was like, I guess that's fine. I just don't want to be expected to react positively to it. Or he's sensitive. He doesn't like getting picked on too much. I don't want to be picking on a guy. I just want to dress up as him and make fun of his movie for 2 hours. But the man himself, probably less so. In past videos, I think I called him a villain at one point. And what I meant by that was I was upset that Lewis bandwagoned with the rest of the Channel Awesome losers to attack Doug. I thought that was a real betrayal of trust.
Betrayal! What? Betrayal! Betrayed me!
It seemed to me like Lewis is the I smell on Lewis the type of guy who bandwagons, and I don't really care for that. However, and this might, you guys might find this interesting. I did go back to the Not So Awesome document. I wanted to see if there was any Atop the Fourth Wall movie references in it, and there is one. I'm like, oh, what's this shit gonna be about? Craft services?
How were craft services on those sets?
Yeah.
Let's see. Coffee? Will there be coffee?
Instant coffee?
We'll see about that. I don't think they're going to want coffee, trust me, because it's going to make you dehydrated.
No, but coffee.
Good, as in at the place. I would advise getting coffee at breakfast myself. Coffee at the
No, like, well, I don't know. I've never eaten.
Can you formulate a proper question? What are you about?
He had craft services. You've seen the BTS. They're all eating it around a table.
The catering was wonderful.
There was food. There was always food.
There's a lot of passive aggression in the BTS and in the commentary about how we are so much more accommodating than To Boldly Flee was. There's a lot of that talk because everybody suffered so much on To Boldly Flee.
Now, I like how To Boldly Flee turned out for the most part, but I know a lot of people were upset by it, but even more so that a lot of the cast was upset by how things had gone with To Boldly Flee. It was a very rushed production for a 3.5-hour movie, which we were still doing in the same amount of time which we had done the other movies, and those were already hectic and rushed and exhausting productions. And so on top of that, we had to sit in a very hot attic to wait out for scenes for maybe like 5 seconds, but stay there for most of the day, sometimes pulling 16, 17-hour days. It was terrible. So I vowed to make sure that everyone would have a much better time with this one. I wanted to check. I checked in with everybody on occasion. Hey, how you guys doing? Need anything? You all good? I wanted to make sure they at least had dedicated days where they did not have to work. That if they were really that exhausted, they would be able to sleep in and do whatever the hell they wanted. And we had a longer production schedule in general. We had 10 days versus To Boldly Flee 6.
There was enough time to film it because they weren't trying to cram in a giant script into a small amount of time. Lewis made sure to schedule everything properly.
This has been a fantastically fun experience thus far, and a far more comfortable experience than previous shoots I have done in the past. This has been one of the better times I've ever had.
Apparently, they shot in a warehouse and built a set, and they were getting charged $1,000 a day to shoot there, and they could save a lot of money if Channel Awesome would just let them shoot in their studio, and they would still pay them. And apparently Channel Awesome was like, it sounds to me like Mashad came up with every excuse in the book to say no. It sounds like he just wanted to say no and kind of backed into the no. So he's like, you'd need insurance. We'd have to supervise it. You'd have to.
It seems like he's always doing that. He's always like, how can we not do something?
I gotta be fair. I read that and I was like, kind of shitty of Channel Awesome, actually.
You don't think that's a big ask, though? Like, they'd use that studio for Nostalgia Critic. You don't think it's a big ask for them to, like, take it over? Like, how long was it? Like, a couple of weeks? You know how fast they pump this shit out. So, I guess they could have, like, moved Nostalgia Critic. But, like, why are you bumping the main event for this bullshit?
Of course, the document has his side of the story. So it was, they were willing to pay rent to offset any lost Nostalgia Critic revenue. Doug had filmed Nostalgia Critic for 5 years without the studio and could shoot simpler episodes elsewhere. So, yeah, that is kind of a big ask to, like, go move. And the supervision requirement was insulting because they're adults. And the studio they ultimately rented saw no need to supervise them. All I'm saying is, if you're going to be part of a multi-channel network, as they kind of were at that time, and the deal with the website is you don't get paid, and these aren't really your bosses, they're just affiliates, I do think that, like, space sharing ought to be one of those things that kind of comes with the deal. It's like, hey, we can pool resources, we can help one another. It seems fair to me.
Would have been a nice gesture.
But most important of all, once we get the money and the equipment to get the productions we need going, we're going to open up this place to other productions. That's right, we're going to open this place up for other people to work on their productions, whether it be online or I don't give a shit what else.
I suspect that the real reason is because they didn't like the movie.
Oh, yeah.
But the most pathetic complaint I could see is this, where he decided to make his own movie and requested to utilize the Channel Awesome studio to Mike Bashad and Rob Walker. Rob seemed cool with the idea, but Bashad flat out refused for 3 reasons. 1, it would interrupt the production of The Nostalgia Critic. 2, someone would need to be with us to supervise us. 3, I would have to get insurance to protect against damage to the studio. In the same document, both Iron Liz and Lindsay Ellis, as we'll soon see, chastised Doug Walker for not securing any production insurance on Suburban Knights. Apparently, if Doug doesn't get any insurance, he's a complete moron, but if Linkara doesn't get any insurance, it's okay. The insurance request was not unreasonable. You just contradicted yourself. You just said that all of these points are ridiculous for a number of reasons, and now you're saying that one of the points was valid. Ay, ay, ay.
Lewis asked, will you co-direct it? Because he, of course, didn't feel confident directing, especially since he was acting in it. Doug said no because of the workload.
And then I asked Doug Walker if he was interested in doing assistant director work. He turned me down as well, simply because just the kind of workload involved.
And then he got Doug's opinion on the movie, and Doug said, it doesn't feel like an Atop the Fourth Wall movie. Make it an Atop the Fourth Wall movie, which meant put us, these 4 costumed characters, in the movie.
I agree with Doug.
Doug, when I showed him the script, because I wanted his input, was, this doesn't feel like an Atop the Fourth Wall movie. Make this an Atop the Fourth Wall movie. And that's why I decided, okay, well, I don't want to have all my characters. What about 90s Kid and Harvey, because they're the most popular? And then what's the point of the other cast members? Well, they're there to inform and expand on the characters of Harvey and 90s Kid.
In the first draft, these characters weren't in it.
Because I feel like Lewis, he says this a couple times in the behind the scenes, it feels like he's like auditioning to make an anniversary movie.
If I were to do like a Channel Awesome anniversary movie, that I'd have even more really talented people to help me out with this and make sure I don't screw up royally.
Because he says a couple times like, oh, if I was to direct an anniversary movie in the future. And so I think he was just trying to make his Atop the Fourth Wall look as much like an anniversary movie as possible. And then the feedback was, hey, maybe make it an Atop the Fourth Wall movie.
This movie and To Boldly Flee are like the exact same movie.
Let's not go crazy.
I just mean in like a plot outline sort of way. It's like
I see.
Something really far away is happening. We get in a spaceship that looks shitty, and then we spend the whole movie traveling to the place, and then we need to like waste time and invent melodrama on the ship.
Yeah, we learned something about ourselves philosophically.
It's the same in like the broadest strokes. So like, I don't know. Maybe that's another reason why. He's like, why are you ripping my shit off?
Shut up. Never talk while I'm talking.
We do arrive at the location fairly early, though.
It's like 30 fucking minutes.
It's like part 4 or 5 when that happens, right?
So Lewis is very clear about his influences. This is one thing he's always been good at.
Attribution?
Exactly. Well, because the thing is that Lewis is a remarkable mimic when it comes to the bones of other things. As a matter of fact, his April Fool's videos that he's done for years, where he'll essentially take another show on the internet and essentially just do an episode of that as himself, they're fun. And they're genuinely pretty good. So it's like he's good at that. He's good at taking other things and trying to mimic their style down to the letter. Here, he's doing Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, with a little bit of Star Trek III.
Now, we're wearing our influences on our sleeve here, but I'm just going to admit it. Yes, a lot of this was inspired by, of course, Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. Star Trek II, in my mind, is a perfect movie. Absolutely perfect. Every scene exists for a reason. The dialogue is perfect. The music is perfect. The action is perfect. Everything about it is just perfect. So I decided, well, I have no experience making movies before. So if I'm going to try to follow how other people made movies, I should follow something that I think is perfect.
It's actually one of the things that slowly drove me away from the show. I was a viewer for 10 years. 10 years. Wow. I watched Lewis.
Whoa.
And it was one of the things that as I got older, I treated him like a proper critic of what should I be watching, what shouldn't I be watching. And then when I took all of it, I realized, oh, Lewis is just pulling from all of the things that he likes blatantly, and they do it better. It is just, to paraphrase the apostle, seeing through a glass darkly. So it's like we're following Wrath of Khan, but it's Wrath of Khan without the star power and without the effects.
With all the cardboard.
Yeah, without the, like, clockwork precision of it.
What's a parody exactly? A parody is when you impersonate something and exaggerate for comic effect. That's generally the formula. Lewis tends not to do the exaggeration for comic effect part. He kind of just does it. And I think, I actually don't want to like bust on him for being on the spectrum or something like that. But I want to mention that I have a friend who does really awesome impersonation voice work, and he's on the spectrum. And he's locked in to how to do voices, kind of like me, I suppose. Maybe I'm on the spectrum somewhere. But I do think like mimicry and impersonation kind of sometimes comes with being on the spectrum, maybe. And like you see some of that manifest in the writing, and like there are performance moments where I'm like, that's not really performing, that's like impersonating. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's talk about a few key details. Well, for one thing, because we decided to dress up, I was like, if I'm going to be Linkara Prime, which is sort of neutral, standard movie Linkara, I was like, let me see if I can figure out exactly what to get. Motherfucker on the Atop the Fourth Wall website, he's got a cosplaying guide.
He was seeing some inferior cosplay at a convention.
Let me fix this.
He wanted to set it straight.
It is woefully out of date, though. It is Linkara G1. It's when it's just the t-shirt, the button-up, and the jacket. So what you are wearing was a significant upgrade post to Boldly Flee. Now his costume is even slightly different. He has a blue shirt because of the Blue Lantern Corps with their representation of hope. It's one of those
nobody
things
knows
of
what
like,
you're talking about.
There's a story reason? Oh my god.
Yeah, no, there is a story reason every time.
Oh, I'm fucking sure there is. What if I had shown up with that like corduroy shawl that he wears in the final act?
Oh yeah, when it's getting serious and he puts that thing on, I'm like, oh shit.
I got my cufflinks.
It makes me so sad that every time I see an Inverness cape now, I have to think of Lewis. I can't look at Sherlock Holmes or like any Victorian setting stuff and not be like, oh, Linkara.
On that note, by the way, Levi, my daughter saw me dressing up like this, and she was like, are you like a news reporter or something? And I was like, detective? I actually don't really know, kid.
It's Linkara.
I'm Linkara.
Good afternoon, Mr. Linkara. My name is Alan Park. I'm with the United States government.
You know, for the anniversary, the trilogy of anniversary movies, finding their behind the scenes, finding all the commentary tracks, it's no problem. It's all on YouTube, blatantly. You can get ridiculously high quality AI up-resed versions of all of them, right? Readily available. This movie, if you want to watch it on YouTube, it's in like 7 parts, first of all. There's no compilation of the movie. And if you want to watch the commentaries and the hour and 45-minute behind the scenes, you need the DVD.
Now, is the DVD readily available?
It is out of print.
So we are so lucky that we have the best fans ever. A fan named Jacob Bahe, B-A-H-E. He was like, hey, I got one of these Linkara Atop the Fourth Wall DVDs. You want it? This was months ago. And I was like, yeah, okay. But the whole time figuring it'll all be on YouTube.
Yeah, you don't know how essential that was, man.
We can't do this video today without this DVD. So I, of course, had to make sure everybody had some of this content. So thank you, Jacob. The aesthetic of this movie, I want to say this. I feel like if you were a normie who didn't know the difference between shitty movies, you have to discern between low-budget indie movies. If you were to squint at Suburban Knights and Atop the Fourth Wall, the movie, you might think that these are both the same things. And I stand firmly. They're different. There's nothing in this that's remotely as funny as she lost her contact lens.
Oh, my contact lens fell out.
Her contact lens, my T. She lost her contact lens.
Oh, geez, that's terrible.
Even something like Doug showing his dick, like when he's crossing his legs and all that crap. Doug understands rhythm, timing, punchlines. He understands how to move a camera in a way that like is a little bit kinetic. He understands like quite a bit more about editing. I never thought I'd say this, but like Rob Walker has like quite a bit more comedic and story sense. So of the 4, yeah, this is for me like by far the worst viewing experience. I kind of quite enjoyed the 3 anniversary movies as time went on, and this like I had like a little bit of fun, tongue in cheek. EJ, on the other hand, was laughing it up, having a good old time.
Well, yeah, it's so, well, I mean, it's not like so bad it's good, but it's riveting because of Lewis, basically, because I know he made this all happen. And so if I'm like, damn, this is kind of funny because it's just like the set, getting all these YouTubers to stand flatly in the frame.
I see you've done some redecorating since I've last been here.
Yep, everything used to be controlled by a single console, which is kind of problematic when the one console explodes in your face.
One of the best things about movies and books, but books maybe even more so, to make a movie, you have to like ask somebody, can you say these words? And can you stand here? And, you know, so it's a glimpse into the mind. You watch The Room and you're like, the reason you're loving The Room is you're like, we get a glimpse into Tommy Wiseau's brain that we might not otherwise get. And so that's very much true here. I think this is like a theory, or maybe it's even like just obvious fact. I think Linkara loved the anniversary movie experience. I think he loved making all three of them. And for some reason, he really loved making To Boldly Flee. He said multiple times, like, I loved the way that came out, which is really weird and ironic because a lot, you know, that's the one that kind of was divisive for the cast and crew because of the 6-day crunch shoot and all that.
Sci-fi insanity. This is what enhances it. It's like it's all within the guy's wheelhouse. And it's like, okay, so we get to indulge a little bit of this, we get to indulge a little bit of that. Not to mention it's like, hey, Lewis, canonically you have a spaceship. Bring your spaceship into this movie. You get to fly in and save the day. Oh, and also go be your robot character. Like we get to bring in Atop the Fourth Wall and their canon and continuity in full force. So it's like, I don't blame him.
And yet he didn't seem to want to do that at first. And yet the original script had none of the costumes character, because he was like, well, I don't really want to make a movie where I play all the characters. I'm like, isn't that what Atop the Fourth Wall is? Is you in an apartment or a hotel playing all these characters? So it was Doug. Doug pushed him in that direction.
Originally, when I first wrote the script, one of the things that I did was that I was the only one of my characters in the show. I didn't have confidence in myself to do multiple people and make them sound distinct and make them sound like different people and convince you that they were different people.
This came out November 2015. So this must have been shot throughout 2015. So we're rewinding the clock today, 11 years. By this point, independent films were shot on DSLRs. And I think they shot this on a variety of there's 3 cameras, right, gentlemen?
Yeah, there was a Panasonic camera, like a video camera for the wide, and then there was Canon 60Ds, because this is the beginning of the DSLR craze. I think they used the 60Ds for a lot of the close-ups, but not always close-ups. Sometimes, like, you'll see in a lot of the like medium wide shots, like half the cast will be like out of focus, because like, you know, when you're using these cameras, they're shallow depth of field a lot of times.
And yet it was so flat.
Yeah, it was so flat, but he would cheat the characters in like diagonals. So like the person in front of the diagonal will be in focus, and then the people in the back will not be in focus, because, you know, DSLRs have larger sensors, which means you usually have a shallower field of focus. So yeah, for some reason they just were always there was always somebody out of focus.
Nash,
what now?
When they're done, Harvey will bring you around to engineering. You know technical stuff. You should be able to handle it.
I hit things.
Can't we give Doug credit for that? This Linkara movie was shot flat as a fucking pancake. And those Doug movies, even though they're consumer grade cameras from the 2000s, Doug doesn't shoot a movie flat. Camera angles, there's zooms, there's pushes.
Linkara even hired the same slobs to shoot this as the shot To Boldly Flee. So, like, it's amazing that it looks so flatter, because it's the same people doing it. So I just, you know, thought they'd do just as good a job.
We have worked on the same set as Lewis. We met him when we were working a couple years ago on the To Boldly Flee set. We were pretty much doing the same thing, only we weren't providing the cameras that time. We only took our lights, microphones, and props and makeup. So, hey, a promotion.
So, yeah, I guess we made an impression that time, and he said, hey, come back help.
And the most amazing part, the most amazing detail, that this movie launched a successful crowdfunding campaign. And that was on an Indiegogo for the Atop the Fourth Wall movie, and it raised $63,000. This is a $63,000 movie with 974 backers.
Where do you get all these spaceships and shit? Is there a sale at Best Buy or something?
That's like a fifth of James Rolfe. Raised like a fifth of that.
And he didn't even shoot it in California?
And I think he said they spent close to $70,000, so...
Dude, Jason, when you reviewed all these internet YouTube movies, you left this one out.
I don't like Linkara. I never watched him.
I really didn't know who Linkara was until Dylan the Night Owl, to be honest. And I'm actually so glad Dylan the Night Owl did cover that, because I got more of the backstory behind this. I think that's why I even enjoyed it more, is because I was like, oh yeah, look at that.
For like 5 hours, you watched like just this 5 hour lore about this guy. And I remember watching the Dylan the Night Owl video and being like, is this a comedic series? Like, is this tongue in cheek? Because it sure seems tongue in cheek. He's dressing up like a Power Ranger, and like he's his own White Ranger and shit. There's like melodrama and
playing with toys.
But $63,000. And so naturally the question is, where did the money go? They were goodly enough to tell us that in the commentary.
And the set.
Oh god, the set was so pretty.
It was, and it's where the majority of the budget went.
For those of you who are actually wondering why the budget, where the money went for the budget, you're actually looking at it.
As established earlier, they had to pay $1,000 a day for 10 days. It was a 10-day shoot, so we know where at least 10,000 of the dollars went. But they had built a professional set for the spaceship, which is where the, what would you say, like 75% of the movie takes place on the spaceship.
Hi, welcome to Comic-Con 1, the set of the Atop the Fourth Wall movie. I'm your host, Rod Serling.
And watching the movie, the spaceship to me looks like trash.
It looks horrible.
And I'm like, what? You spent how much on that fucking cardboard thing? But then I watched the behind the scenes, and there's like some behind the scenes footage, and they're going on and on about how beautiful and gorgeous and incredible and expensive the set was. And I can kind of see it now. I'm starting to see the actual detail. I'm starting to see, yeah, this actually would have taken a lot of time. It's fairly large. He was disappointed that it wasn't closed. It wasn't 360, so they couldn't do like complete 360 shots. They always had to do, angled shots. Seeing it like with a roaming blog camera, I was like, oh, actually, that is kind of an impressive. I don't know that it's like tens of thousands of fucking dollars, but it is kind of an impressive set. It's akin to what Matt Zagar made for the Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing.
I used to do, theater and drama, and it definitely looked like somebody who worked on theater built this set.
I'm sure that's the kind of guy it was. Yeah.
For the hallway shots, we're just getting all the walls in line. If you pan over to the back over there, which is something I've done it in some stage work, but I've never done it in a set, like for something like this, but it worked out pretty well.
No, it looked like a very impressive set. And I think one of the problems is those DSLR cameras, because you're flatly lighting the whole set and you have a shallow depth of field, it makes it look green screen when it's not green screen.
I was totally going to say the same thing. I was fooled. And in fact, I think there's a scene with the Nash guy, this chronically unfunny guy. I mean, I'll take him over fucking Phalis, who's not in this. I kind of missed Phalis a little. I was like, I could really use somebody on this spaceship who's like,
oh, yeah, that's that.
Why is he not here, but Allison is? That's strange.
There's more budget for you. They flew all those people out to Chicago, or where I believe they shot in Chicago, put them up in hotels and paid them. So they're actually paid. So Allison will go anywhere where there's a paycheck. But that's almost 1,000 backers. I've got to tip my hat to you, my love. That's pretty impressive. So when we say like, well, who was a fan of this guy? A lot of people, apparently. He was actually a pretty big draw for the Channel Awesome website.
Even the co-director, she's like a fan and like is like crying at like Harvey's scenes and stuff like that. And she was at least passionate enough to work on the movie. People like Lewis and people are passionate about him and follow him to this day.
Much like the other three, spending a little bit of time in the world of Lewis Lovehog, I kind of get it. Not as much as I get the other ones. Let me be real. I think almost no part of this works. I'll talk about like maybe one or two moments that I think work. I think Mechakara slowly peeling off his skin like somewhat works. Like it needed to be done a little bit better, but it somewhat worked.
That was actually a moment of unintended laughter, is because the skin hitting the ground makes the same sound effect every single time. And like the girlfriend is just cracking up. She's just like, it's the same effect. It's the same one. And it's like the last piece comes off with a slight delay and then
They said in the commentary the ripping of the skin was just ripping paper, and the co-director was like, it was? She was very astounded by that.
Do you know what I used as the sound effect for the flesh ripping off?
No.
That is various sound effects of paper tearing.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
That's great.
Some of them are a little slowed down, but or they're going very slowly. But yeah, it's just paper ripping.
Something that somewhat works is you can tell that like he loves writing. Obviously, this guy, he fan fiction teenager, loved to write his own comic books and shit. The Lightbringer, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people they're like, hey, Frankie, you got to read the Lightbringer and you got to go deeper and deeper and deeper. I'm like, listen, I watched the movie. I watched the behind the scenes.
I couldn't follow Dylan down that hole. I had to stop somewhere.
The other side is that it's Lewis himself said this at one point. He's just like, could you imagine going back through like Stephen King's high school writing assignments and being like, this is terrible, or like Neil Gaiman or any of these writers and just being like, let's look at these early works and say how shit they are, and then I'm like, yeah, it's unfair. It's unfair. It's like this is a child writing and trying to find their authorial voice.
I agree. It's totally not cool. It's cheap. It's very internety. I think probably the reason that they get a kick out of it is because even in his adulthood, we get a pretty deep glimpse into his psyche, and his psyche is a little bit funny, and then you can kind of see the root of some of that. But my point is the dramatic sci-fi fiction of it all, cringy though it is, there's a lot of pseudo philosophy in this that comes out of fucking nowhere, and there's a monologue we'll get to that will crescendo to. It's obvious to me that he is passionate about writing, and that kind of comes through, and it needs to, because the cinematography and the visuals, I mean, the movie is severely harmed by certainly like the shot composition. We keep talking about flatness. Maybe people don't really know what we're talking about. So when you're shooting a movie, a screen is flat. Unless you're watching a 3D movie, cinema is a 2D format. So when you're composing a shot, composing a bit of depth is a way that you can kind of paint with the lens. It's a way you can tell a story with your visuals. So you want to think about where you're placing the actor in relationship to another actor, in relationship to the setting. You know, are you trying to communicate that the set is big? I used to have a cinematography professor who said the size of an object in the frame communicates its importance. So if you have a close-up of hands or something, it's like, well, you know, that's what a wedding ring, you're focused on that. Or you're telling stories. Kevin Smith used to get mocked a lot for shooting very flat because he shot like Clerks, you know, and it was just these kind of dead-on two shots. You're meant, in general, to try to compose a story with your compositions. And part of that also, like you ought to understand the rule of thirds, this idea that you should, you know, if I'm facing, right, if I'm facing this way, I'm framed to my left because the action is headed in this direction, right? But a lot of the shots were this.
Or like when there's a group of people, like there'd be two, and then one person would be like maybe cut off in the frame, like in the middle, like right in the middle. And also like in the beginning, especially, he like breaks the 180 rule, which actually in the commentary to his credit, he's like, oh, I didn't realize I broke the 180. So he knows he did these things.
I'm really kind of disappointed with the sequence, if only because I screwed up the 180 rule a few times during this, and it's the first damn shots of the movie, so I was really sad about that.
I think he's one of those people who is just very motivated to do something,
and I kind of want to honor that. I like, despite all these flaws, I kind of want to say, like, that's cool. You had 1,000 people who cheered you on, gave you some money, you made a cardboard set, you shot an awkward movie. I'm glad you cast yourself as 4 different awkward characters.
And he was encouraged by his peers to do that too.
It sounds to me like whatever the first draft of the script was like not at all the movie that we got, or it was like even less comedic somehow.
I have to say, it's like, listen, like I can throw as much as I want at Lewis about how this movie isn't quite up to par. He made it. It's in one piece. It was seen by a lot of people. It sold DVDs. Based on what they are saying from the commentary tracks and everything else, it is precisely what he wanted to make. That there's something to be said for that.
That puts him in a rare percentage of people.
Right. Most artists look at their work and they nitpick it to death and they say it's awful and a terrible, horrible thing that nobody should ever see, no matter how good it is. Lewis is satisfied with his work, which is a bit of a weakness, but it's also a strength in some ways.
There's a certain courageousness to just doing this. I think he also has made it clear in all of the supplementary material that he's not a filmmaker, right? These video reviews that he did in his bedroom. However, I think he was kind of juiced on the anniversary movies. I think he was dying to do another one. So this would have been 2 years after To Boldly Flee was when this would have come out. By about that time, they were wishing that they could do another one. Some of them were wishing they could do another one. This is what he came up with. I think he probably was hoping, if I'm honest with you, I think it's kind of cool that there's an unofficial fourth one. He was able to like scrap a few people together, like Angry Joe and stuff. But he knows he's not a filmmaker. So he knew he needed a co-director. That's what he called it. I need a co-director. Asked Doug. They said no. There's some other guy who said no.
Hi, funny, nostalgia critic.
He turned me down.
And then along comes Jessica Kittrick.
Chimichanga.
What?
Who I had never heard of before watching the material, right? Anybody else?
No.
I researched, I couldn't find any evidence of her working on anything else ever. So she's very much just somebody pulled out of thin air.
Yeah, well, so I saw her in the credits, and I was like, we'll have to circle back on that. And then the commentary and the BTS dove into her a lot more. She introduces herself on the BTS as a freelance director.
My name is Jessica Kittrick. I'm a freelance assistant director, and I have my own show on YouTube called Fool's Gold and Superhero Rundown.
Obviously, she supported this movie. She did everything she could to help with this movie. It's made abundantly clear that the movie was made possible by her.
I was the person who got all of our stuff together, basically, and I was script supervisor, makeup artist part-time for some reason, and a bunch of other stuff.
Just ask her. She must say 20 times across all of this DVD material. Basically, Lewis didn't know what he was doing.
It kind of seemed to me like he was going to need somebody who knew what they were doing.
The movie wouldn't have gotten made without me.
Without me, this movie wouldn't have gotten made, right?
I was the most important.
Not only did I do a lot of the pre-production work, I found the studio, I found the person who built our set.
There's a lot of like kicking Lewis, tongue-in-cheek kicking Lewis.
He's a megamaniac. That's what he is. He's a megalomaniac.
Linkara loves this movie and he's very proud of it. This woman loves this movie and is very proud of her work on it.
And she don't want anybody to forget.
Oh, I did the budget. I helped out with the budget, too. There was a
think
lot
you
of
might
stuff
have done
I did.
anything else on this movie.
In these kind of like nerd social groups, there's often like, I am going to punch you if you don't have Harvey fine voice in the movie.
He gave me feels about Harvey, so I had to punch him in the face.
It's very theater kid. Like I said, I used to work in theater. I have a minor in theater. This is an archetype. An archetypical woman in theater who, has got that sassy, I'm going to punch you, you're playful.
I'm going to put on that mask back there, and I'm going to kill people.
This is the type of woman.
The kind that accepts the bouquet of flowers on opening night reluctantly, like, I'm just a behind-the-scenes person. But if you didn't give her that bouquet of flowers, she'd fucking die. She needs that recognition, but has to act like she doesn't need the recognition. Whatever, she saved his ass. However, I think she overstates her contribution in this way. If you say over and over again, Lewis didn't know what he was doing, which she says multiple times.
Neither do you.
Lewis didn't know what he was doing. He needed me. I saved it. I wouldn't point at this movie as proof that you know what you're doing.
No.
This wouldn't be my calling card.
I can see that she was very important with like organization. She had those binders and was keeping people on task and stuff like that. That's a very important role in a movie. And I could see Linkara getting lost in the weeds while he's doing his thing.
This is a movie where it's 99% people standing around and talking. So having somebody like staying on top of what they're actually saying, maybe she did save this movie. Maybe she is the only reason it's even watchable.
They probably needed a script supervisor though, because they mentioned a few times that they missed like lines in some scenes and stuff.
And apparently we forgot to film that.
And I felt so bad.
Yeah, I learned that on my movies for sure, which was when you're shooting, you're way more focused on whether or not the shot broke down. You're focused on visuals. You're focused on camera motion. If the actors just perform it without any flubs, you might accidentally assume that they said all the lines correctly. And you have to make sure that they're saying everything as written, because if they don't, you might actually fuck up the story. That's definitely happened to me before, where somebody was like, wait, no, you skipped this whole part, or you didn't say this sentence, and that's going to like get paid off later. And by the time I got to my fourth movie, and the guy who wrote the script also was the script supervisor, that was super helpful. We didn't have that problem anymore. So indeed, like, even though this movie is real scrappy, people are standing around and they have to say their lines properly. And they have to, for the integrity of the story, whatever story there may be.
Well, the good news is it's completely incomprehensible, so we have no idea if they said anything correctly or not. We have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, during these monologues, like, that's the time to tune out.
That's the time to go clog a bathroom.
Nash goes up to go to the bathroom, and in the bathroom, Dr. Linksano, Poyo, and Poyo go to the bathroom, and the Ninja Style Dancer are experimenting on Boffo the Clown in the bathroom.
It was the time to daydream a little bit when they're doing the melodrama. You're just like, okay.
The girlfriend put it as, this movie has a problem. This movie has a problem with repetition. This movie has a problem with repeating the same line 4 times. This movie...
I'm finally just realizing now how not normal my life is. This is not normal.
Linkara, normal is relative.
The issue is that they cover ground over and over and over again.
Look, you think your life isn't that normal? Really?
So a lot of the monologues and a lot of the speeches, if they were briefer, and if they cut at a certain point, again, she was just yelling, cut.
But I know how dangerous it is. You guys don't.
Cut.
You don't know what it is to fight something that truly wants you dead.
Stop.
You guys don't know what it's like to collapse on the ground.
Stop going.
You guys.
You've made your point.
Man, the extended cut of the Linkara movie is a little boring.
If these were just a little briefer and they just did not cover the same ground over and over again, you'd be like, oh, well, that was nice. Like, oh, okay, no, like that makes sense. And like, wait a second, so Nash and Harvey get another come to Jesus scene? Like they get another one.
We would be left with a 30-minute movie if they cut all that out.
What the hell was that back there?
When the credits rolled, she was just like, if this thing was 90 minutes, I would have still been annoyed, but at least I would have been like, well, at least it clipped along.
I gotta tell you, 90 minutes for a movie that's at this level of this low level of quality, that's a long movie.
Yeah.
2 hours, which is the actual runtime, is obscene.
Linkara!
2 hours of this or 4 hours of To Boldly Flee? Like, what's the larger crime here?
Well, look, first of all, To Boldly Flee is 3.5.
Okay.
So it's not a full 4.
For some reason, it goes by faster.
There's shit going down. There's a really cool fucking scene in To Boldly Flee, which is when the ray of energy bursts out of Spoonie. Do you guys know that it was supposed to be Spoonie? Spoonie was the backup choice to Nash, but Nash said yes.
Nash's backup was going to be Spoonie.
Oh no!
Could have had Spoonie.
Spoonie's in, like, he makes a cameo at the very beginning, and the whole movie, I'm like, where the fuck is he? You know what? Maybe it's good that they didn't ruin Spoonie, because he made Angry Joe boring.
This is nothing, man. I could do this all day. All I gotta do is think about something that really pisses me off. And right now I'm thinking about Sonic Free Riders. And now I'm thinking about parallel parking.
Which should be impossible, but he found a way.
In the BTS, Angry Joe comes off by far the most normal. Once again.
I am filming the Atop the Fourth Wall movie. Ooh.
And I know he's been ensconced in some controversy over Supergirl lately or something. In the behind the scenes, like every interview is that theater kid like, my name is Lewis. I am the, director, actor, all-around crazy person who made this movie. Like, shut the fuck up.
I am writer, director, producer, editor, crazy person who made this movie.
I'm Jessica. No one could have done this without me.
You were like, so I need somebody who's experienced to help out my inexperienced person. And I was like, sure.
And then it cuts to Angry Joe. He's like, hey guys, I'm Joe. I'm just trying to help out my friend. He wants to make a movie. And
I'm just helping out my friend Linkara. He asked me to be a part of it, and I of course said yes. I want to support him.
Here to help my friend make a movie, guys. So that's gonna be great. I'm like, well, that's the right spirit. And on the commentary, they were like, it sounds to me like they were really tap dancing around everybody's feeling. They really didn't want to be the exploitative To Boldly Flee set.
We would make sure that we kept to the schedule and made sure that if we didn't get everything we wanted done, that we would have time later on to film that stuff, not take up everybody's time.
And they're paying everybody. And they're like, would you mind maybe working like a 10-hour day today?
I vowed to make sure that everyone would have a much better time with this one. I checked in with everybody on occasion. Hey, how you guys doing? Need anything? You all good? I wanted to make sure they at least had dedicated days where they did not have to work.
And they were like, and Joe was just like, he said, yeah, that's what I came out here to do, is to be in the movie.
Joe, we apologize, but we're putting you to work. And he was like, well, isn't that why I'm here? And I'm like, okay, if you're fine with that.
And we thought, well, God, that's nice.
He's actually probably one of my favorite people to work with.
That's his normal behavior, is it not?
Yeah, definitely in the behind the scenes, there was Lupa was making jabs at the previous anniversaries. You just all over the place.
Yeah, but the last time we went to space, it wasn't exactly happy fun times.
And Mars Girl too.
Lewis has done a fantastic job of paying attention to what it is that each one of us actually does, probably better than the anniversary movies ever did.
Plenty of passive aggression to go around throughout that whole BTS, and you can say in 2015 you're 2 years away from the Not So Awesome document, so it's brewing.
This is a weird story. I was actually in Afghanistan when the Not So Awesome document dropped. And it was like, I went back to my room after watch. I was on watch for 14 hours. And I sit down, and there's an update that comes across.
There's a briefing.
Yeah, exactly. I look at my laptop, and I'm like, oh, shit, they're canceling the Nostalgia Critic. Man, that is like an entire world away. Like, I don't think I have time for this.
Sure, another anniversary video has hit the towers.
It was just having that framing of like, wow, this is really petty.
Look, I'm going to tell you, when it dropped, the Not So Awesome document, I was like downright obsessed. I was like very interested in what the fuck was, because I started seeing all these Quentin reviews and Ralph the filmmaker.
What a beautiful day. The sun is shining, cats are roaming about, the birds are chirping. This is the perfect day to stay inside and watch a bunch of Nostalgia Critic.
And all these guys were coming out of the woodwork talking about this controversy. Most of them were anti-Channel Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
The whole time I was kind of like, sounds like a lot to do with craft services.
Sounds like a lot of hoopla to make over a little
craft services.
Right? Wrong.
In a moment, I'm gonna put Levi on the spot and ask him to explain the plot of the movie. Before I do that, my first impression of the film, besides the opening titles where they're singing his name like he's a god, Linkara atop the fourth wall.
The song's actually different in the DVD and the YouTube cut. The YouTube cut just uses his theme song. Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. I don't know, he commissioned some like epic version of it for the DVD one.
Yeah, I think they were talking about that in one of the behind-the-scenes things where they said that song wasn't ready yet, and so they were just using the other one.
Living Tombstone's remix of the Atop the Fourth Wall theme song was not finished in time. It is on the DVD now, of course.
His theme song is better, by the way. The other version sounds like crap.
The Ballad of Linkara?
I think that's the credits theme. I think that's a different song.
Yeah. The credits is the Ballad of. It's more of sort of a. I of course made a Suno version of it that was Celtic and more sort of like the bard is singing the song.
Linkara, atop the fourth wall.
Anyway, my first impression of the movie after the credits, the opening credits, is there anything more classic in these kind of movies than, like a 25-year-old walks through the door and he's in a suit and he's more overweight than a government official normally is?
It just looks like shit. They never do guys in suits well. Like, they all try to, and they never pull it off. I've never seen it happen.
Yeah, it looks like a child wearing the suit. It's a boss baby.
I was shocked to learn that he is a member of Team 4-Star. I did not know that lore.
I don't even know what that is.
They made a really, really, really popular Dragon Ball Z fan dub.
Dragon Ball Z abridged or something, yeah.
They haven't made episodes in forever, but he was one of the main guys, and I had no idea.
Well, I'm watching this scene where Alan, the government official, I don't know, the Men in Black type of dude, walks in and he's asking Linkara where his spaceship, the Comicron 1, is located.
I think I'm going to go with Comicron instead.
The scene makes absolutely no sense, by the way. Like, the first two lines of the movie, contradict each other.
Explain.
Because the government agent's like, I know about the spaceship, and that's supposed to be like an oh shit, so he lets them in.
Now go away!
I'm here to talk to you about your spaceship.
And then the next thing the government agent says is,
I hear you're letting your fans vote on what to name the craft.
I hear you're letting your fans vote on what you're to call. So the spaceship wasn't a fucking secret then. So who cares?
Yeah. Makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if the fans knew, that means that it's in his videos. And if it's in his videos, then fucking everybody knows. So who cares?
Yeah, the government should know.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I could barely track any of those details because I was really focused. I was like, this is just two people talking in a room. And this is shot like absolute shit.
The first impression of the movie, it's in an apartment, which is like hallmark of these kind of movies.
White walls.
That's another point. It's like they go out of their way to be like, oh, the spaceships are like houses, but Linkara doesn't even have a house, so he couldn't do that. So like he doesn't even get to have the fake spaceship.
Well, and
house.
yeah, that Solellus 1 or whatever the fuck that other
Yeah, yeah.
spaceship, that is a living room with, like a dinner table or whatever.
Yeah.
But then the other one is a nice set, or as nice as they could
Yeah,
afford
yeah.
or make. And his reasoning in the commentary was, well, I wasn't going to have 2 living rooms.
And Lord knows I wasn't going to have 2 spaceships in a living room.
You can only have 1. I was like, yeah, but you already established that it's okay to have living room spaceships, as well as in the last movie. He wanted to develop on To Boldly Flee lore. And he went to Doug asking for permission. Would it be okay if the plot hole were to do this? And Doug's like, I don't give a fuck.
And I felt like, well, we've created this whole new world. What are we going to do with that? I don't know. And Doug didn't want to do anything more with it. So I was like, okay, I'll explore something with that.
We covered it when he had a tweet storm about when the website went down, because he was pretty pissed that his movie wasn't on the same website as that.
For a decade, doing numerous crossovers and movies.
We shared an apartment.
We smelled each other's stink. And it's all connecting now for me.
It's all connecting because he was very invested in that lore, in that whole series.
So the plot hole means nothing to you?
It meant something to me.
What about Pregler and Nash and Mars Girl? Did they mean nothing?
This was after demo reel, right? I think
yeah.
so.
Demo reel, I
okay,
think, was
so-
2014.
Yeah, the plot hole plays a role in demo reel as well. So so he was still kind of monkeying with that fucking thing.
I think we got to do demo reel plus the review goes on.
We should.
I just wanted to say this about that opening scene with Alan, who, by the way, are they supposed to be gay lovers? I'm not even joking.
I can assure you that we are never going to be friends. You are the best friend ever!
Oh my god, they were roommates.
No,
They're just supposed to be friends.
Buds?
They're just
Buds.
friends. Come on.
They seem more than buds to me. They seem real close. And I'm like, I have no idea where this relationship came from. Who shat out of the plot hole.
Well, it was just so he could have a death scene later. And he couldn't kill one of his alter egos, so
Oh man, that'd be great.
Well, I mean, unless it's Mechakara.
That's like an old Joss Whedon trick where you kill a major character in the movie. You kill Wash in Serenity. You kill Agent Coleman or whatever in Avengers. Kill 90s Kid in the Atop the Fourth Wall movie. Doug could have, suggested it and maybe he would have done it. I think you need to kill one of these fucking characters.
It would have been really hard to composite that. It would have been really hard.
Well, we would have had to do a split screen and split death. So what I found out about that really horrible first scene with the white walls and the Comicron one, Jessica, who insists she was very important to this movie, was not available for that shoot. That was a pickup shoot. And Jessica was not there. And you know what? It looks a lot worse than the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
You gotta give it to Jessica.
He breaks the 180 rule a ton of times.
Oops.
It's like when they cut to each other, they're facing the same direction, or sometimes the opposite directions.
So, okay, Levi, you're up.
Let's rock!
In 2 minutes or less, from the first scene to the last scene, what happens in this movie? Spoilers.
All right. So, it's Linkara's birthday, and he's thinking about why the hell he's still around after having some kind of strange type of PTSD / anticipation of all of his previous battles with the other magic gunslinger from a different dimension, Lord Vice, the King of Worms, and a bunch of other foes he's fought over the years, some of which are just dimension hoppers, others are interdimensional gods. Anyways, he, after having these realizations, is contacted by the United States government that their new space flight, that it has gone offline. And the whole point of their mission was to look over the crash sites and the explosion sites of what happened in To Boldly Flee with the Executor's spaceship to gather any technology that may have been left over. Turns out, Mechakara is still out there.
Mechakara, that was never my name. You filthy organic mongrel, spit that name at me, and it's stuck.
Mechakara is out there in the wreckage. They take in the Hand of Malachite, which is from Suburban Knights. So they pile into Comicron 1, which the reason it doesn't look like a living room is because it predates To Boldly Flee, and this was confiscated from Lord Vice, the interdimensional warlord.
Shit.
So this is a completely separate thing. It's usually represented by green screen on the show. So when they get on the ship, it's a big moment because it's a physical set now. They fly out to Europa, where the Executor's ship exploded, discovering the Kyle Estes 1. It has been taken over and rebuilt by Mechakara, which ends up in the Star Trek II submarine battle style sequence of them getting real shot up and everything exploding. And we get a little bit of the Scotty, like, carrying his nephew up, like, he stayed at his post when the trainees ran. And then everyone talks at each other for a while things are being repaired. And then Mechakara is trying to repair his stuff.
They're taking off panels all the time and looking in there.
They're taking off panels. That's the best composed shot in this movie. We got foreground, midground, and background.
They do it a few times.
It's a mighty fine looking shot. So they beam down to Europa, which we see into Boldly Flee, which was a warehouse the Executor established.
Jason can't believe you have all this down.
That were set forth for the Executor's invasion. And then the initial away crew beams down. They get cornered. Linkara almost gets killed by Mechakara, and he leaves for, because of bees. I don't know.
Bees?
Bees. Bees. Bees.
An unfortunate word for him to have to say.
The reason the bees are there is because it's a running joke. Bees, my god, is a running joke from the show.
A deadly bee weapon. Bees, my god. Bees, my god.
Yeah, and he said in the commentary it was not originally there, but in order to make it more of an Atop the Fourth Wall movie, they squeezed it in. They squeezed in Insano and Link Sano.
Again, one of the other things that criticisms that Doug had for me was this doesn't feel like an Atop the Fourth Wall movie. So it's like, well, okay, Bees My God had to somehow make an appearance. Well, okay. Oh, Bee Gun.
There's a bunch of bits in this movie that you're like, that makes no freaking sense, and that's because it's a joke from the show. So Linkara is almost left for dead. Mechakara is attacked by bees from a bee shooting gun. He goes back to recover. In that time, because Alan dies in the ship, that's the Scotty holding his nephew moment, they beam Alan's body down because they discover something left over from the Genesis-style planet-esque field has regenerative tissues because it's trying to regrow portions of the planet that are not functioning. It's terraforming the planet. So, Alan is beamed down to be brought back to life. He comes back to life. They beam down the whole crew when it is discovered that Mechakara is still alive. They fight Mechakara, who has upgraded, torn off all the skin off of his face and upgraded himself with armor plating. And then they do the Care Bear stare. They link arms and they do the Care Bear stare. Lewis gets to say, yeah, well, fuck you too, which is, again, a big thing because he didn't say fuck or shit on the show.
Well, that was like he wanted to keep the show clean?
I don't know. It was a weird choice initially. For some reason, like, that was the running gag of, like, he didn't use the more aggressive four-letter words. So it's okay. Like, so when he does the thing, like, literally John Carpenter's The Thing, when he does that line, yeah, well, fuck you too, it's like, oh, like it's a big pop.
Say the line, Bart.
Yeah. Fuck you too.
Yeah!
I clapped when I saw it.
So then Mechakara gets blown down to a skeleton. He does another joke from the show, I'm a man, and he punches his head off. They all go home with the crew of the Kyle Estes, having recovered the technology from the Executor. Everyone goes home, changed. Maybe Nash believes in God now. I don't know. But everyone understands each other better. And then the credits roll after they watch Sallow with CinemaStop.
And that was Sallow.
Well, first of all, the great Levi Reed, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. 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 Have you ever taken any emotional social learning? What kind of spectrum you got?
I took an online test that said I was very not autistic.
Really?
Listen, I did ask my psychiatrist about it. They're like, okay, so according to these results, so here's the line of autism. So here's the line where we can actually legally diagnose you. So you're right, like right here. So we are not allowed to do that. And I'm like, fine by me.
you know how they do like a day-long test and, you know, they spend a lot of time getting your results? I think they should just ask you to describe the Atop the Fourth Wall movie in 2 minutes or less. You get people in and out. You didn't really take any time in that synopsis to describe why Obscura Lupa, Angry Joe, Cinema Snob, why any of them were there.
So, because that's the format of the anniversary movies. That's why.
Why was Mars Girl's hair extension there?
So on the show, the ship was confiscated from the interdimensional warlord, Lord Vice. It is run by essentially Linkara and his characters. It is run by Harvey, 90s kid who later became 90s dude. Again, it's a story thing. The Cybermats and the computer Nimue. It is run exclusively by them across several space battles, across several opponents. So there's really no reason why the other producers have to be here.
But he wanted them there, obviously.
Because it's an anniversary movie.
He regrets not having Angry Joe have more to do. Angry Joe he's the one, or Cinema Snob, he's the comic relief.
Yes.
But he was like, Angry Joe will shoot lightning. I do have to give them credit for one thing. There's a shot, the green screen doesn't look so great, but there is a shot of Angry Joe shooting lightning out of his hands. And you know what? It looks like pretty good. They got some guy, like a fan, to do a bunch of the CG. I mean, it's not top notch, but I think like it gets you there. Like if the movie was a little bit better, it would get you there. It's basically on par with To Boldly Flee, I'd say. And he was able to paper over a few problems here and there. I think it would have gone a long way to use the rule of thirds a little bit, and to maybe just like light the spaceship a little bit more spaceshipy. Like maybe just a little bit of light passing through, or maybe like some harsh light and contrast, just like something that makes it feel like we're out in the coldness of space, just a little bit more.
I don't know. It's tough to make people standing around doing nothing interesting.
Yeah. You gotta move it. This is why blocking is important, man.
You want to know how you do it? You don't shoot exclusively in wides from a high angle. I mean, it's like even on the show itself, like, yeah, it's a flat green screen background of the ship. Lewis actually kind of takes some care to like, oh, we'll throw a little bit of green light because green is very common on the ship. These are all the colors of the consoles and everything. So there's a little bit of green light. And like, oh, we'll kind of downshift it a little bit. There are arguably more close-ups on the show than are in the movie. The thing is that it's very, very strange that somehow the flat CGI one character green screen shots on the show look better than the movie does. Yeah. Because at least the green screen backgrounds are lit correctly. It's one of those things where it's like, this costs $50,000 for them to build or something crazy.
I bet he just works better when he's just tinkering alone, like doing his thing. When probably he's worried about all these people here. He's worried about making sure they have craft services. They have their break room where they're watching TV or whatever. Like he's worried about all these things. I think I think the production probably faltered because of that. But if he's working on his own videos alone, you know, he's not James Rolfe where he's worried about the onions falling out of his mouth.
Fuck. There goes the onion.
I think he thrives in that kind of scenario.
I love when the onions are toppling out of my mouth. Blah.
That's the thing, is like the biggest issue is it's like Jess says, it's like, I'm the one who made this whole movie work. Arguably, you're like, okay, there are maybe some moments where it's like, okay, you probably kept it on task. The way it's shot is like, oh yeah, this is a Lewis Lovehog movie. It's actually one of the things that, again, like, listen, there's a part of me that's sad, because knowing that I'm making this somewhere on the internet, Lewis Lovehog will no longer like me anymore, which makes me sad. I believe in Lewis.
I believe in Lewis.
I do too. I think he's great.
The reason I stopped watching the show was realizing there was nothing there for me anymore. I received sort of the watch list and the like initial taste and everything, and then I developed my own taste.
Is he still like fighting like anime gunslingers and stuff in the? He is
to this very day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that kind of makes me happy.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
At the time when I was watching, Lewis was 10 years my senior. And he had been around the block and he had read all this stuff and and it was like, oh, hey, this is somebody who can kind of like introduce me to other things.
Respect your elders.
Well, it's like by the time I got to the end of that 10 years, I'm like, well, Lewis, I've seen most of the things. I've seen most of the things. I've experienced most of the comics. Like, I've developed my own taste. And then I realized two things upon watching the shit. Weirdly enough, it was his title card artist changing. And I'm like, oh, I'm not really a huge fan of these new title cards. And then I realized two things. I haven't learned anything in quite some time. And I don't think I've laughed in quite some time. And I decided, I think I'm done. Like, I think it's time to close the book on this.
You should have made a 90-minute horrible movie about being done with it.
You could have had a monologue on the spaceship.
Do I believe in God? Is there a God?
Do you believe in God?
An early tell of all of that was 2018. I made my first short film, and it was a ton of fun, but it was also a ton of work. And we shot it. We shot it for no freaking money, and we got it made. Is it my favorite thing I've ever done? No. Did we put in the work? Did we put in the time? Yes. I remember watching the Halloween special and thinking to myself, okay, here we go. Linkara is fighting Freddy and Jason.
Hell yeah.
Because he was reviewing Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. And I'm running it through my mind. I'm also taking like James Rolfe's battle with both of them respectively. And I'm running that through. And I'm like, okay, so how's this going to look? It doesn't look good and it's shot flat. And I'm like, here's the problem. He had the advantage before because I didn't know how cameras worked. I know how cameras work now. And I'm like, oh, that's not how I would have shot that.
You know, a web series where the skits are just supplementary to a futon review.
Right.
The expectations are very low. In fact, it can be charming how shit it is.
Ow!
You know, the problem is when it's a $70,000 movie that was
Right.
crowdfunded. Like, especially because he obviously aspires to tell a story and to create real fiction. So there's cognitive dissonance. That's what we're left with.
The big problem is that the $70,000 movie looks like his $10 web series.
Right.
It is shot, it is edited, and it is performed in the same manner.
It all went to pizza.
Yeah, it's like it's one of the disappointing things because when I saw this, I was still a regular viewer. I was still a regular viewer of the show, and the movie came out, and I'm like, really?
And this $70,000 movie starts with an apartment, and then you're like in Doug's basement or whatever that looks like a bar. It doesn't leave a good first impression, and then it just keeps going.
Is there anything cringier than him doing the drunken Linkara thing?
Oh, I was gonna say it's not very convincing. It's very over the top and cartoony.
Did I ever tell you about the time I saved the day by blowing up a house in space?
You know what? Nina had said this too. She goes like, I think she was specifically talking about the crew members of the Kyle Estes. She was like, I keep having to remind myself that these aren't like robots or androids because of the performances. Like these are meant to actually be human beings.
Some of them.
And you know, and also it struck me that like Doug, he'll move the camera in interesting ways that are motivated by the comedy and all this. Doug will also do a little bit of sound design, a little bit. And like there's not much sound design going on here.
No, it feels very theatrical in that way. Besides the flat framing, it's like, yeah, there's long portions of time where everyone's just talking.
I mean, you're such
an idiot.
This is why blocking is important, man.
I wasn't going to say that.
Yes, you were.
And there's not much riz going on, not much environmental things going on, not much sounds going on.
Levi mostly gave us the plot. There's a story that undergirds the plot. And it's something, it's a very rote. I feel like I've seen a million movies that have done this, which is if you're going to adapt a show into a movie, they take the character, they have him despair or otherwise step away from or betray the core qualities of the TV character so that the third act beat can be him returning to the sort of status quo. So they crescendo to going back to the status quo. So that's kind of contrived here, which is, I think I might be suicidal.
I'm pretty damn sure I don't want to die, but I was ready. I was ready for it to end.
He seems to want to kill himself, or like he doesn't know what.
I feel like I'm just waiting to die.
There's some weird conversations about, like, with this Alan guy who, again, I'm pretty sure it's a romance, guys.
It's not no, he's not.
It's actually
right.
It's not intended to be a romance.
No.
It's a play off of the Star Trek relationships, like a really close, like forged in battle type relation.
Forged in something.
That they yada yada in the beginning.
Hey, birthday boy.
Hey. Now wipe your ass and get ready.
But there's talk. They're telling Linkara, you can't just live for other people. You can't be so selfless, Linkara.
You can't be thinking about their craft services all the time, Linkara.
My God.
My God.
You guys all, like, poke holes in, like, the cameras and the production. Like, I don't know how to use a camera either, so I can't throw stones there. Like, my one thing with this movie is that Linkara on screen has to be, like, this depressing fucking guy who is like, oh, man, these comics, they take such a big toll. He's having PTSD about reviewing fucking comic books.
PTSD?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I know, whatever. And the story's like fighting people, but whatever.
Shitty games.
That's what he's doing. But, like, that's the big difference is the Nostalgia Critic would never do that. He portrays this whole endeavor as stupid and silly, and he, like, his character in these movies is to be laughed at, when Linkara needs to be this, like, deep emotional guy that you're supposed to take seriously. And at the end of the day, he is fucking reviewing comic books.
And you still review comic books, right?
Wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Now wipe your ass and get ready.
It's such a fucking dichotomy when he's like, oh, I don't know if I could do it anymore. I'm suicidal. Do I even want to live? I stared death in the face and death blinked. And I'm like, what the fuck are you review comic books? Why isn't this fun? Why is this so fucking serious? My God.
My God.
Well, I think you just brought us there. There's a dramatic beat. So I'm just going to say this first. There's definitely a bit of pandering to the women in the movie.
Mars Girl, you will be second in command and punch anyone who says anything stupid.
Punching hands ready.
Lupa, 90s kid, you guys will be in charge of figuring out a plan about what to do in case, I don't know, aliens or something attack the KLStis and we have to fight them.
Why me?
Because you're smart and you can probably kick my ass.
Yeah, not probably.
Oh, well, that's another thing. That's another freaking whole thing. Is like he's so righteous, he had to include a scene where he apologizes for not asking Mars Girl if she wanted to be second in command.
You will be fine taking command of the ship if anything happens, right?
Sure. Why, don't you trust me?
Of course I do. It's why I gave you the job to begin with. It's just... I should have asked you before I gave you the job.
Maybe. Is there any reason why you think I'm going to need to take it?
No. It's just... I just kind of assumed a leadership role without asking, as I should have talked to you first.
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in anything ever. It's so... Why did he include that? It's not enough that he's this emotional, brooding badass that fights these interdimensional beings. He also has to be amazing to women. Like, all of his character flaws are that, like, he cares so much that he's depressed.
Well, he did say in the commentary track, so the original idea for Mechakara was that he was going to be just kind of like a skeletal metal body because, well, quite frankly, I am overweight and not very imposing.
I thought that it would be better if Mechakara, because, you know, I'm overweight, and I didn't think I could be imposing as Mechakara anymore, especially after so many times we've seen him. So I actually originally envisioned Mechakara being like a half-skeletal puppet during all of his shots.
Mechakara being the villain too is stupid because he jobs into Boldly Flee, so he's not a threat. He's like the 5th tier villain into Boldly Flee. There's so many villains in that movie who's disposed of with no reasons. Like, if you're coming from the Channel Awesome lore, Mechakara is like a bumbling idiot, so why do we care?
Well, because in the Atop the Fourth Wall lore, he's kind of the Goldar. He's kind of the...
I don't know.
But no, well, you tell me.
It's a little weird because, yeah, it's... The Boldly Flee is in continuity. If we're sticking with To Boldly Flee, it kind of has to be Mechakara.
It's got to be, Jason.
Well, I mean, the movie didn't have to be everybody talking in a spaceship about how depressed they are for 2 hours.
I think the movie didn't have to be would have been a satisfactory sentence.
The problem is we are mimicking. Like, one of these conceits about Star Trek II is Kirk is getting old. You know, he's gifted the glasses at the beginning, and it's just like, well, how do you feel on your birthday, Captain? I feel old. It's like, it's this whole thing of, it's like, and the ghost from the past, Khan.
I'm 27 years old.
I've never seen Star Trek, just throwing that out there. So, like, it's, I don't even know what he's mimicking.
So the whole conceit of that film is we're getting old and the past is coming back to haunt us. And that works when William Shatner is in his 50s and the entire cast is getting older. And there is kind of this, like, we're together till the end of the line, and Spock freaking dies at the end of it. And it's like, it's this big thing.
You're taking this about as seriously as he does.
They spend the whole movie going to an alien planet, and then it's the inside of some fucking warehouse. That's the alien planet.
It was some boxes he got from Home Depot.
And that's the problem. They are taking these ideas and grafting them onto characters that it does not make sense for.
Such as the cinema snob.
He is trying to jam Channel Awesome into a Star Trek II mold, and it doesn't make sense. Especially because Lewis himself admits he doesn't suffer from depression.
You're like one of the only people I'm aware of in terms of the reviewer universe that doesn't actually suffer from depression.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense for you to have it.
What is this clothing style that these young men used to have where they all want to look like groomsmen after the wedding?
Okay, here's the best I can guess. We want to look professional, but we know we're a bunch of freaking nerds who don't look professional, so we're going to skew it slightly to pretend that it's a joke and we're actually laughing at ourselves, even though we desperately want to be taken seriously.
The Tenacious D effect. Yeah, you make an interesting point, because like even when I watch History of Power Rangers, part of the reason I'm enjoying it is it's a grown man who's taking it seriously. And I think when I first saw it with a silly voice and everything, I thought like the review was somewhat tongue-in-cheek, meant to be comedic, kind of like James Rolfe. I kind of came from the AVGM where it's like, I'm taking this game a little too seriously. That's the joke. In the fullness of time, I'm like, I think he's serious as a fucking heart attack. I think he's reviewing the Power Rangers.
The thing is, I want to have fun while I'm doing this. Constantly badgering me for the next videos does not equal fun. It makes it a chore for me, and if it becomes a chore for me, I will be disinclined to work on it.
There's a moment in the commentary, he's like, oh, we wanted to introduce Mechakara earlier, but I thought it'd be more impactful that, like, we don't even know who the threat is until I'm turning away from the screen, then I hear his voice, and then I turn.
My God.
Like, he thinks it's, like, the best moment of, like, his career there.
Mars Girl, when you get a good distance away...
Is something wrong, Linkara? Mechakara.
It's Star Trek II again. That's the problem, is that all of these moments are cribbed from something else.
Well, he could have copied it a little bit better.
So, we wish he did.
Let's see, what else? Oh, yeah, okay, so we were going to talk about the monologue. So there's a, I don't know, would you call it like a slightly after Act 2 break, which is a very strange time for a major dramatic beat, by the way, just narratively. You'd put that maybe somewhere at the top of the movie or maybe at the end of second act break, perhaps. But they put it at a pretty, almost the most random spot possible narratively.
Yeah.
And Mars Girl is kind of school-marming him for some reason.
You froze. I have never seen you freeze like that. What the hell was that?
And he starts being like, you don't understand. You guys never fought Mechakara.
You don't know what it is to fight something that truly wants you dead. You never had your head slammed repeatedly into a wall until it's covered in your own blood. You guys don't know what it's like to collapse on the ground thinking that you did something horrible only for it to be some monster messing with your head.
You didn't point at a god and stared back at him and made him blink.
You guys have never stared into the face of an angry god as it laughs at how small you are, and then you stare right back at it and make it blink.
But there had been, when they had the fight, the space fight with Mechakara, he became like paralyzed in the middle of it, right?
Yeah. Then he froze.
So Mars Girl shouts at him in the most cringe way possible. And then you froze, with all of her upper body strength. And then you froze.
And then you froze!
The biggest problem with Mars Girl throughout this whole... She's dubbed constantly because none of their takes were good.
You volunteered!
You're damn right we volunteered. We heard people were in trouble and we wanted to help.
You put yourselves at risk!
Oh, come on! We faced danger before!
And in the commentary, Lewis said, like, it was because the boom mic would peak.
The problem was we used boom mics, of course, but the problem being that anytime we were doing shouting, it, blew out the mics.
Because especially Linkara doesn't modulate his voice. It's always...
Yeah, Jessica said that. She was like, he doesn't have an indoor voice. Sure I do. This is me whispering.
He has no indoor voice, so it makes sound editing very hard.
A deadly bee weapon.
Yeah, it's because they probably had the gain set too high on their mic.
So even when we tried to turn them down, it sounded really badly.
So she shouts and then you froze. There's a dramatic pause. And this is his, I want to reenact his performance moment. He goes... He does a little head tilt, like, well, you got me there.
It's the Michael Keaton.
You guys have never stared into the face of an angry god as it laughs at how small you are, and then you stare right back at it and make it blink, and then you froze!
Mars Girl, I mean, she doesn't have a comedic moment in the entire movie. Like, apparently that was some issue where she was like, can I be a little more fun, perhaps? I'm the one who spoke Japanese in Suburban Knights. Like, could we have a little more fun?
Like, everybody else had some really awesome comedic moments, and I came off as kind of the buzzkill.
Yeah, multiple conversations redundantly about how he's worried he's wasting his life reviewing comics. That's like a whole lot of the runtime.
It's the whole fucking movie.
Thinking a lot about myself and my life, and I don't know what I want anymore. I've been thinking about ending the show because I'm not certain why I'm still doing it. What the hell am I doing reviewing whatever editorially mandated garbage has been spewed out onto a comic book?
We should be critiquing plot lines, not being part of them.
Sometimes I wonder if I even like comics.
I have a note here that says the craft services must have been impeccable.
Vega was doing catering for this, and she planned out like very intricate kinds of meals, planning specific meals for specific days, very healthy stuff, being like, yeah, they're going to want to eat, healthy to be a productive thing. And then of course, we're a bunch of nerds, so we eat terribly.
Oh yeah, there's an action scene where he's attacked and the camera doesn't move. He just shouts.
We can't let them escape. Joe, fire again. Finish them off. I can't. Damn it all. Alan, do a sensor sweep. Alan!
Okay, what's with the Christian philosophy in the movie? Why is Nash and Harvey Fine voice? And they said a number of times in the commentary that like they loved this amazing pairing of Nash and Fine voice.
No way.
One of the big reasons I agreed to even do this movie was I really liked the meshing of Harvey and Nash. A lot of their characterization and a lot of their conversations were great.
Do you believe in God?
How do you mean?
God. Big guy up in the sky, long white beard, created the universe. God.
He asked Nash if it was okay. It's like, I know you're an atheist. Is it okay that we wrote this scene that you're questioning God and stuff?
Can you talk about the Lord Jesus Christ in my movie?
For Nash, I was worried about him not liking this monologue because Nash is actually an atheist.
That guy, he seems like a nice dude, this Nash guy. I don't know. There's just something very, like, even though he seems friendly and maybe even, like, has a sense of humor, there's something humorless about everything he did. Unlike Brad Jones, unlike Angry Joe, who at least come with a spirit of fun. Everybody tells us we got to watch the cinema snob movies. They say they're good.
Apparently they're legit. Yeah, I've never seen them either.
I swear Nash is funnier elsewhere. It's
You were a Nash fan too?
Oh yeah. His show Radio Dead Air, his news show What the Fuck Is Wrong With You? Like, it's decent. It's fun. When he is just himself, it's fine. The problem is that his sort of on-screen quote-unquote character is deer in the headlights, which the girlfriend is just like, he looks like his brain is swelling in like every single shot. It's like he's about to just fall over.
There's a whole subplot about how 90s kid has been sold short. He's been assumed to be dumb when he is in fact brilliant.
I'm not stupid despite what everyone thinks, and I know what everyone thinks. When you assume that someone is stupid, you just think that they're so stupid they won't notice.
I actually made these guns. I'm actually kind of smart too.
Even his alter egos have to be amazing.
Whoa!
Had a gnarly idea about how I could redirect power from the sensors to the guns!
That's the joke? Whoa, 90s dude is the joke?
What's funny is that Gravity Falls did the exact same joke with Dippy Fresh, and it's 90 seconds, and it's actually funny.
Wiggity wiggity, what's up, dude bros? I'm Dippy Fresh. I like skateboarding, supporting my sister, and punctuating every sentence with a high five. Huh?
Yeah, so there is this scene where Mechakara peels off the skin, and then in the next scene, he's cardboard robot. And I thought for a cheesy, independent YouTube movie, I kind of like the conceit of like, oh, you know, you take the real guy, you peel some stuff off his face, and then in the next scene. My only criticism of it was the slivers of skin were too skinny. And number two, it went on, like, you could have shown me 2 peels of the skin. And I think we got 3 or 4. We were peeling skin for a while, in like cutting between 2 medium shots of peeling skin.
I mean, the big problem, they mentioned this in the behind the scenes, they forgot the prosthetics. As a matter of fact, they were like, should we bring the prosthetics? And Lewis, like, misunderstood them or something. It was like, no, don't bring the prosthetics.
We don't need prosthetic limbs. I got 2 arms.
So where's the cool stuff for my face? And they're like, you said to leave it.
We weren't on the same page on it, so I took it that we did not need any prosthetics, so Haley did not design any for that.
He goes, no. So we're like, oh, okay. So he just needs like cuts and bruised makeup. That's fine. We just take a makeup kit with us. And then he was just like, so where's like all the battle damage and the exposed metal? And we're like, you mean the prosthetics?
The ones you told me I didn't need? And he's like, yeah. So we're like, oh.
So again, funny in hindsight, not so funny on the day of filming.
So like the whole thing's a compromise.
Tissues and toilet paper.
And aluminum foil.
And aluminum foil.
I have a question that I don't think any of us have the answer to. What do you suppose the budget on the other anniversary movies were? If this is $70K.
However much the plane tickets cost, that's it.
I think they were probably largely unbudgeted. They just probably came from the company, right? Like whatever needed to be bought from the company.
Yeah, we could, I don't know, assume like $200 per person. That was the budget.
They obviously had hotel rooms because a lot of those movies were in the hotel.
Well, and they bought the M. Bison costume from the dentist and all that. So there's like a little bit of money spent.
7,000? 8,000?
Yeah, that sounds right to me. I can't believe there was an hour and a half of behind-the-scenes discussion about this movie. That's a long... I mean, granted, we've gone longer than that now, but still, I was like, that's a lot to say about this movie.
It's a crime we didn't get anywhere near that for Kickassia or Suburban Knights. They're both way shorter than that.
Yeah, I want more, too.
Yeah, exactly. Those were awesome.
I admit I didn't 100% the DVD. There's like a Blood Gun review and...
I tried. Unwatchable.
The spaceship people made their own little short film.
You know what? The most worthless thing on the DVD was the story so far. Because I'm like, oh, I actually would like a little lore recap. It is worthless. It doesn't tell you shit.
And then Suburban Knights happened. I was kind of an asshole. I'm relevant to the plot again. Oh god, no, I'm not. Oh no, a video game glitch is actually a Lovecraftian monster kidnapping everyone, including me.
I'm an artificial intelligence that's running your spaceship you took from Lord Vice. I will never go crazy.
It's too gimmicked. It's too just like ADHD. Just like he tries to compress like every little plot point so they each get like 1 second.
I will defeat you with Power Rangers!
Star Trek 2 references.
You need the Dylan the Night Owl.
It's not him explaining what happened. It's him in each character rapidly switching between them, and they each say one line. It's very bizarre.
Lewis, hire me to explain for your next movie, and I will explain the hell out of it for somebody.
As we said, they love their sets, and I was thinking if it was like a playground for children. Like if they, like, hey, we're going to play Spaceship. Seems like it would actually be a great little like play set for children. And you know what? Linkara said this in the commentary. He was like, the cinematographer insisted on having a shallow depth of field for the background, specifically for the green screen shots. He was like, so he wanted the composite to be blurry. And then I told him, like, no, that's going to look bad, but he insisted, so that's what's in the movie.
He was really obsessed at the time with depth of field effects. He was like, no, it looks much better with depth of field effects. He was like, but yeah, I'm using these for green screen shots. No, it still looks good. No, you don't understand. I'm supposed to be standing off to this part which you have made blurry. And he just would not agree with me on this. So a lot of these background shots have like blurred edges and whatnot.
Lewis doesn't always put his foot down on this sort of thing. There's a few times where there's suddenly a lot of focal depth. And it's very jarring because up to that point, things have been extremely flat. There's like a moment when they're battling Mechakara and they're having this kind of friendly banter with Mars Girl. And suddenly, like, the composition is so tight on both their faces. It's meant to be like very intimate discussion. You know what? The best shot in the movie, you got to give credit, because there's green screen and it's pretty seamless, is when Mechakara comes up from behind Lewis and it rack focuses from Lewis to Mechakara, amidst the boxes. They actually look pretty good. Cinema Snob, in the behind the scenes, said he was having a hardcore bout of depression.
I was actually going through a hardcore bout of depression around the time this movie was being shot. Believe me, I had no problem spending 2 weeks in outer space.
The poor fucker. He's smiling tooth to tooth every time I see him. Hope he's okay.
Sure thing, sugar tits.
Can do, sugar tits.
They talk about pulling 12-hour days. I believe it. They shot this in 10. To Boldly Flee was shot in 6.
It's still a 3-hour movie shot in 6 days. And that's not going to move smoothly.
We've shot a movie in 9, and it's very, very aggressive. But, I mean, this movie, you set up a tripod or two, and you make sure...
They're all just talking.
You could bang out a lot of these scenes.
One thing they say is that, like, Nash is talking about this. He's like, so I had, like, 2 days where I wasn't doing anything. So I just, like, went to the Mall of America and, like, kicked around a little bit. And I kind of wish there was less downtime, but here I am.
I sat around a lot. And I didn't think that was really fair for the fact that I was paid to be there, and I should have worked a whole lot more.
Well, that's what they made sure that happened, because Linkara was like, "Oh, we made sure that everyone had days off, made sure that we had plenty of time to film. It was luxurious. Made sure there was plenty of chips. When the chips ran out, we bought more chips and donuts."
My thing is this. Whether it's 6 days or 10 days, that's not a lot of fucking time. And so, like, a lot of your focus and attention should just be on making the best movie possible and not all this other crap. Like, either way, you will survive. You can do anything for 6 days. You can do anything for 10 days. Jessica, the co-director, says it's the best anniversary crossover because everyone was nice and they had a, quote, huge budget.
I think that this is probably the best well put together crossover, and not just because we actually had like a huge budget with it, but also because everybody was friendly and professional.
How would she know? She wasn't even at the other ones, was she?
I know, like, you don't get the shit on. You're not Iron Liz.
Yeah, where was Iron Liz?
Hey, yeah.
Did they break up by this time or something? They must have.
So Iron Liz has actually been cropping up here and there, and she's like, yeah, so I'm actually rebooting Lightbringer. Lewis released it to the public domain. I'm rebooting it. I'm taking the characters and I'm doing it.
Well, like now?
Yeah.
What?
Go off, Iron Liz. Hell yeah. Have fun.
Iron Liz was there, the great Iron Liz, right?
I guess it must be his wife. This person must be his wife now. There's somebody in the behind the scenes who said that she storyboarded the whole movie. So this movie was fully storyboarded. And yeah, all those shots storyboarded.
Do you think like in the shots there's like person here, and then the whole this is all blank?
Make sure to draw it nice and flat.
Yeah, draw some of the characters like blurry.
How many wide shots did Vega draw? How many of them are just blank wide shots?
I think there's probably like 3 or 4 setups total in the whole movie that like actually like storyboarding it would have, like the rack focus I just described, and you can improvise the shooting I think pretty easily.
My God.
He says he's thrilled by the finished product. He also loves To Boldly Flee. Once again, I'll say it again. Everybody else, I think he was really sad to hear that everybody had a bad experience filming because he loved that movie so much. That gives me a different perspective on Lewis, I have to say. I'm a little bit less down on him because he loved it. I love that he loves To Boldly Flee.
And some of his content, doesn't he like describe himself as like liberator of Kickassia and stuff like that? He loves this being part of his lore.
Well, think about it, man. If you were any one of these people, that would have been a very exciting time of your life. That was like 3 or 4 years in a row making those movies, and at the time they were very well received. They're largely laughed at now. I hope that Red Cow has had a little something to do with reversing that, because I think the 3 anniversary movies are a fun time, especially Suburban Knights.
If there was ever a chance for they're bringing back Channel Awesome, like I'd want to be there. Come on,
fuck yeah,
it'd be awesome.
All of us should. I think we should insist a seat at the table.
It's one of the things that I do genuinely respect about Lewis is that it's like, listen, pretty much everything It's like everything he's done as a part of the show, it's in canon, it's in continuity, it's something to be proud of, it's something to be acknowledged. Even if it didn't go right, it's just like, hey, here's a joke character I had 3 years ago. Yeah, he's still around. This is something that we have. And yeah, the fact that he is so dedicated and so proud of these anniversary movies that most folks don't care for, I think does speak to his character in a way.
We need to broker a reconciliation between him and Doug Walker. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's much like reuniting all of the slobs at Cinemassacre. I think I would like to see everybody bury the hatchet over at Channel Awesome.
I would like to believe that this reconciliation is more possible than like the Kieran Screenwave one.
Oh, I don't know.
It just seems more possible.
I
It
don't
seems
know.
more possible.
You make a good point. Kieran was an employee of a company who ultimately had an ugly separation. Channel Awesome was more like affiliates and friends having a major falling out, mostly caused by Mike Machad, it sounds like, ultimately. It sounds like Mike Machad was like a bit unreasonable from time to time. Like, I'll give them credit, like why would you prohibit them from being able to advertise their Patreon, as an example, on the like at the end of a video? That seems like a stupid rule.
It is stupid now, but you got to remember back then people didn't just like ask for money. It wasn't. It was a lot less normalized 15 years ago, where it's like, oh, you can support me in this. It just wasn't a thing.
Jessica said that she agreed to the movie because Harvey Finevoice would be in it. And she adores him. Loves this fucking dumb character.
The reason I punched him while I was reading the script is I'm a huge Harvey Finevoice fan.
I don't think anyone truly wants to die. They just want their pain or their fear or whatever it is to stop.
He gave me feels about Harvey, so I had to punch him in the face.
Doesn't he have there's like a tragic background with like a dead son or something?
That's actually an entire Christmas special. It's actually 3 parts. It's a
Oh my God.
3-part story. They do the Christmas Carol thing of past, present, and future, so it's a full 3 episodes of Harvey's tragic backstory and like crying at his son's gravestone that is also for some reason in Lewis's apartment.
They said that they, quote, felt sad Joe didn't have a storyline. Felt sad about it. I think what you're seeing here is there was a script. It was the Wrath of Khan script that Lewis wrote, and it was not an Atop the Fourth Wall movie. It was just called that.
Okay.
And then Doug said, maybe you ought to make this an Atop the Fourth Wall movie. And then he started bringing other people in. Although it sounds like the other creators from Channel Awesome, that was always part of the plan. By the way, side question. Is this a Channel Awesome movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I philosophically, of course it is. Spiritually, of course it is. Officially, is this a
I
Channel
don't think
Awesome movie?
officially. No, I don't think so. It was on the website though, right? Like, so maybe.
It was on the website and it's pre-breakup, so I would say it counts.
It's an affiliated movie. It just seemed to me like they didn't want anything to do with it. The 3 of them, the Walkers and the Machad.
Yeah, well, it's weird. Doug is the only like main core Nostalgia Critic crew person in this at all, right?
Yeah.
There's no Rob. Like, he doesn't make an appearance. There's no like Bargov. There's no like any of these other. There's no Tamara. There's no Malcolm. Because this was after demo reel, so Rachel and Malcolm like existed. They could have been in this, but they weren't.
Well, and that's the thing, is we have technically a 5th anniversary movie that isn't the anthology flick that they did. Movie. Lewis was sort of the shepherd of this for a time, where he assembled a full audio drama called A Voice in the Dark, where he brought everyone together. It was like a haunted house type of thing. And because it was post-breakup, because it was post-Not So Awesome, there's a moment where he's just like, yeah, we're gathering all the reviewers and producers of that guy with a... And that's when the danger comes in, and that's when the power goes out. So he doesn't actually say the whole name. It's a weird, like, epitaph of, like, okay, so we technically have one last anniversary thing that refuses to state that it's an anniversary thing, and for what?
These people seem to like money and need it. I think we could pay them and get another anniversary movie going, no problem.
The easy part is like the animosity is in the like Linkara camp. It's not in Doug's. Like, Doug would probably just be open to it.
I don't think Doug would do this in a million fucking years. I think he got burned by those people. He's like, no thanks. I'm going to hang out with these new dudes that I've been hanging out with the last 10 years. That one guy that's a really good filmmaker that made that Halloween special this past year. Man, that was
cool.
Alison Pregler, Obscura Lupa, she said she initially turned down the movie because she had nothing to do. Once again, there's a real fundamental writing problem here.
She still had
what
nothing to do.
changed?
He didn't change anything.
She called it To Boldly Flee with a Tighter Focus. Is that how any of you would describe this movie?
Yes. I don't know if I'd say with a tighter focus, but it is just To Boldly Flee again.
I already told Lupa it is not to boldly flee the light.
To Boldly 3, 1.2.
To Boldly 3, The Reckoning.
Look, To Boldly Flee is pretty good.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying qualitatively. I'm just saying it's a movie where they stand around and talk in a fake spaceship for the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
It's the same movie.
Remember the Judge Dredd stuff in the fields and all that? That was pretty good. And
I'm a distraction.
We're a distraction.
Now, obviously, it's way more fun, but he remade it basically in his own shitty way.
you got Spoonie's being the guy from Battlefield Earth. And I think the worst thing about To Boldly Flee by far is Rob Walker's Emperor Palpatine. That whole thing can go.
Listen, do you all want anything? Maybe some hot dogs or some more popcorn or... Oh, crap. I forgot my wallet. You know what? Don't go anywhere. I need to take a pee break. I've got a bladder the size of a thimble and a prostate the size of a grapefruit.
But other than that, and of course that's reference, a Palpatine ripoff.
What have you guys faced off against? A micronation? Some pissed off sorcerer who got beaten by a planeteer? An Emperor Palpatine ripoff?
To Boldly Flee still sucks, but this sucks way worse. Just an incomprehensible, they talk and nobody cares what they're saying.
It would have been nice if he had morphed. This is a Power Rangers fan after all.
Yeah,
I
definitely. Should have got out the Power Ranger toys and started whistling on them and shit. Yeah.
Why was there no like dramatic scene of him getting dressed, sort of like a Spoonie turning into Insano? They could have done that, right? Where he's getting into like his duty calls. I gotta fucking get all Linkara up.
Yeah, even when he puts on the big coat, it's kind of unceremonious. He's just like,
I mean, every episode of the show opens with the suit up. That's part of the theme song is him doing the suit. Slightly to my horror and amusement that I'm like, oh no, I do that in my own videos. I do the suit up. I do the pull and the slide, and I'm like, oh no.
Well, listen, you can't escape. You've got a little Linkara inside you.
yeah, you got to mimic just the way he mimics.
Yeah, it's like that. That's the thing. I'm doomed. I'm doomed in some ways.
I'm doomed. I have my shopping to do, Mark. On the commentary, he calls Jew Wario the late, great Justin Carmichael. So this did predate, all the things that came out later.
Oh, he would have been dead by the time this was made. That's right.
Right. But not yet publicly shamed.
And it was actually a thing where somebody like really was coming at him hard over this, because he posted a video that was like, in tribute, and I'm reviewing this Mario book, and he ends it with like, wherever you are, buddy, I hope you're doing well. And the person was like, so are you going to take this down now that the crimes of Jew Wario are revealed?
That's not a fair line of attack to go after anybody who made any tribute, anything over that.
And he posted this monster of a comment below that's just like, Justin Carmichael was my friend.
Good.
Fuck you and get off my website.
Hell yeah. All right, Linkara might be cool then.
Wait a minute. I thought maybe I've got him all wrong. I thought that he went after Justin pretty hard.
They just went after Doug. Mars Girl's the one who was tore up over the Jew Wario stuff. She's the one that 180'd on him.
And this was several years after. I mean, this was probably like 2017, 2018. So this was like fully out there. And somebody was very specifically like, you better take this down because of the crimes of Justin Carmichael. And he's like, fuck you and get off my website.
He's going to leave the same comment on this video.
I hope so.
Fuck you and get off my web. Get off YouTube. As we wind down, I think we're starting to finish this up. As we said earlier, he said it multiple times in the commentary, multiple times in the BTS. I would be very open to making more of these. And he says at the very end of the commentary, I would love to make more anniversary movies. He didn't even say Atop the Fourth Wall movies. Yep. I want to make more anniversary movies. So I think they thought that this anniversary movie concept was going to keep going indefinitely.
I certainly trust myself to film all this stuff up again. I mean, the fact that I've done it once and I'm really enthusiastic about maybe doing some more later on, I am very proud of this, and maybe I'll make another one.
And I think he thought like, oh, if Doug's not going to do it, like I would still really like to do it. Maybe I'll just do it on my own. Maybe I'll crowdfund.
Yeah.
I guess it'll be an Atop the Fourth Wall thing. So he kind of like, it sounds like some of this is he took it in his own hands to keep the tradition going. I guess it's kind of a bummer that like all these years have passed. No more, even from Linkara on that front.
Well, he's done a couple things. Like he did the radio thing you were just talking about. And he's done like another audio horror thing once where he got like a bunch of these people in it, I think.
But did he get anybody into a styrofoam spaceship? No.
No, there's no like, it's all just like audio stuff.
Did he slowly saunter into the spaceship?
No. Well, he also wouldn't be able to crowdfund $65,000 ever again. Like that would just not, like for Linkara, I'm sorry, he just wouldn't be able to do it now.
Linkara can only raise $70,000 once.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, as somebody who it's like I know I've been critical. I do like Lewis. I do have a respect for his dedication to his art. I really like Winter of '83. Go listen to Winter of '83. Have fun.
We're sorry to interrupt. I'm Carl Denby. You wanted to speak to me about your brother?
Several days ago, we went to work, and then he just didn't come home.
I wish he got another chance at bat. I wish he would have given it another whirl and learned some lessons and taken some of the criticisms, because it's like I'd watch another one. Let's go.
Here's something I like about Lewis. He said towards the end of the commentary, I love this job. I want to do this job for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Now, of course, the movie is about how he's having an existential crisis about not liking it. But the real guy, the real Lewis, says, I love doing this. And, you know, you gotta respect that when somebody's like this goofy, because, of course, we've talked about James losing the spark and stuff, trying to find the spark. I don't know if Lewis ever lost the spark.
No, he keeps going. Given the opportunity, he probably would have kept making anniversary movies every year or whatever.
There's actually a quote from him that I do think about. I think about it fairly often. And it's weird that it comes from this source, but I'm like, I'll take it. I don't burn out. I just set more things on fire.
And then you froze.
I kind of love that, and it shows in his ethic. It shows in the way that it's just like, well, when I get bored or when I feel like I'm kind of like stalling on the show, I just start a new project. I just do something else. I just do a goofy ass April Fool's thing.
The thing I want to emphasize and amplify is it's way better to have made this than to have not made it. That's my opinion. And there's a lot of people I think that would disagree with that. Or there's a lot of internet cynicism that's like, how could this have happened? How could you have spent so much time and money and trouble to have made it? It'd be better if you hadn't. And I'm like, well, because we're only here for a moment and we die. If you can like get together with a bunch of awkward theater friends and make a cardboard set and make a movie that you're for some reason passionate about, like, I think that's better than not. Every time. Every fucking time. So I'll give him that. But it was a slog. A Lewis love slog. Any other final words from the beautifully costumed panel? Man, you guys look good.
Make another one. Do it again.
Do you hear us, Lewis? Keep going.
Lewis, I'm right next door. I'm right next door to your lovely home of Minnesota. I will come out for it. I will do whatever.
Red Cow is apparently investing in pictures.
Red Cow stands.
Let's freaking go.
Well, listen, I would make Gnome Cave first, just to be clear. If I'm getting hired by any, that's the movie.
There's a priority. There's a priority.
But yeah, I'm supportive. All right, well, guys, thank you for committing what must have been 3 or 4 hours to this. We did it. We did the Linkara movie. All right, good night, everybody.
Many of you have been very patient in waiting for these videos, and for that, I'm very grateful! Others of you have not been so patient, to the point where I'm actually taking time out of this review to talk about it. Let me say this once again, since apparently it was not made clear when this video series began. History of Power Rangers has no set schedule. Videos are done when they're done, and will be when they're done.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.